So the days of iOS 14 are finally upon us, and if you don't do all the stuff in this video, you essentially can't run conversion ads on Facebook anymore, and you have until the week of the 26th, which is anywhere from 3 days after this video comes out to a week after this video comes out, to get all this stuff under wraps. Now, to summarize the whole iOS 14 thing, Apple and Facebook don't really get along, and Apple's coming out with a new iOS update, or already has if you're seeing this video later, where they're trying to restrict the amount of data that other companies can track. And that required Facebook to implement some extra measures to control how their advertisers track data. So the first biggest impact to all of you is going to be you have to own a custom domain if you want to run conversion ads, period. There's no workaround to that. You can't just go to ToneDen and use their standard link. You can't just go to Hyped It and use their standard link. You have to buy a custom domain and set it up with ToneDen, Hyped It, Feature FM, whatever landing page company you're using. So essentially, instead of sending people to like fanlink.to on ToneDen, you're going to send them to, like, for example, music.andrewsouthworth.com/fire or something. So instead of having this really anonymous link that everyone in the world is using, you're going to have your own custom branded link. And this actually improves conversion rates. But you have to get a domain. If you're running Facebook ads, you can afford a domain. It only costs about $12 a year. I use domain.com. You could use GoDaddy or whoever you prefer to use. So that's kind of the biggest impact of this. Now, the next thing is you have to run to verify that domain. This is part of the whole iOS compliance thing. You have to verify your domain on Facebook to prove that you own it. And you can only verify a domain in a business account. The easiest way to check if you have a business account is click this little profile picture. And if you're the ad account you're currently in, so right now I'm an ads manager. If the ad account you're currently in is in this business account section, you're in a business account. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you're in a personal ad account all the way at the bottom, your account, Andrew Southworth, you need to get a business account. So what you do, I'll put a link in the description. You go to business.facebook.com and you make a new business. Now, there's this whole concept of ad account warm-up. And this is going to sound crazy, but if you make a brand new ad account inside of a brand new business and just start running conversion ads on it, there's at least a 50% chance your account's going to get restricted. And then it's probably going to get permanently restricted, and then you'll have to make a new business and make a new ad account. And I'm not going to get into the depths of that in this video. If you want to learn the depths of that, I do have a link to my course in the description where I go through all of this iOS 14 stuff in more depth and like nerdy detail. But basically, you have to run like engagement or video view campaigns prior to doing conversion campaigns. And then once you start doing conversion campaigns, you don't want to publish a million ads at once. You only want to have like one ad in review at a time to avoid kind of flagging Facebook's AI systems. It sounds crazy. It's the state of Facebook right now. They use all these AI systems to track if people are doing bad things or not. And even though you won't do anything wrong, you can still get your account permanently disabled. So there is kind of a workaround to having a brand new ad account. So if I go to this business settings page and go to ad accounts, and if I click add, there's this an ad account button. And in there, you can just actually add your personal ad account in there. And what that's going to let you do is, if you're already running boosted posts to that ad account, it's already going to be warmed up. So you don't have to worry about that whole warm-up thing. And that's kind of one way to get around this. So let's say that you've made your business, you have your ad account in here, and you have your domain name. The next thing you need to do is go to Brand Safety Domains, and then you need to add your domain. And I usually do, I have this thing that I purposefully set up wrong. I just go to DNS verification, and I do DNS verification methods. I'm going to link to a video up here that shows how to do that along with setting it up on ToneDen. Because for music marketers, typically you're sending people to a landing page on ToneDen or something. It's just like a page that has Spotify, Apple Music, and it tracks your. If you've seen my videos, you know what I'm talking about. But for Hyped It, you can actually do it as well. And Hyped It, if you have an account with them already, you go to Account Settings. And you can also hook up a custom domain with them. I haven't made a video on that yet because John Gold has a fantastic 9-minute tutorial that goes through it in excruciating detail. And it worked for me first try. The first time I followed it correctly. But there's nothing hard in here. It's just you have to follow the steps and kind of do it. So this video here for domain verification, ToneDen. And if you have Hyped It, you can do it through here. If you're using another company, just follow whatever that company is giving you for a tutorial. So now I just want to kind of talk about the impacts of this iOS 14 stuff. Assuming that you set everything up correctly, your ads essentially won't have any impact, assuming you're running the types of ads that I run, because all of our conversions happen on Facebook. And the purpose of this iOS 14 restriction is to mitigate the amount of data that gets tracked between applications. When someone opens our page on Facebook, they actually trigger their conversion on the Facebook platform because they have that stupid internal Facebook browser that opens up. So our conversion happens in Facebook or Instagram. And so you don't have to worry about that app linking thing where if you've seen iOS 14, basically it doesn't let a application track a pixel event that happens outside of it unless the user agrees to be tracked across apps, which very few people are going to do. And so what's the other, aside from that, we're really going to see no impacts, but there is kind of a somewhat of a downside to all of this. So if we go back to ads and then I go to Events Manager, one aspect of this whole setup is you have to choose your events. So you go to Aggregated Event Measurements, Configure Web Events, and then I can choose one of my domains. I always test different domains and buy things that I think sound cool. When you click Edit Events, you're going to get this warning. And so this is kind of one of the bigger impacts is that, let's say later down the line you add a store to your website and you run ads for it. When you set up the conversion events in Aggregated Event Measurement, they won't go live for 72 hours. So you have to kind of plan ahead, where if you know you're going to be running a campaign that tracks a certain thing, you have to make sure that you set this stuff up ahead of time. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait 3 days before you can actually take advantage of that. So basically, on this page, all you do is you add your events. If you're doing a custom conversion, you just add custom conversion and choose the events. And if you're using standard events, you can just go in this list and find the events you want to add. And over on the right, I can't really show it because you can't scroll right in this page. There's just like a button that says finish. And so that will actually save your changes. But keep in mind, 72 hours, like that can really ruin your day if your song comes out in 2 days and you haven't heard of this stuff until that day. And now you have to maybe warm up an ad account, set up all this website pixel stuff, and then wait 72 hours, you probably missed the boat. So you really do have to plan ahead of time. And unfortunately, if you're just getting into this, the first time you do this, you're probably going to see some delays while you try to struggle through it. So the big moral of the story is nothing should really change. Keep in mind, any Android conversions are not going to be affected whatsoever. iOS 14 conversions or iOS 14.5 conversions might see a slight reduction in things that are tracked because Apple still is reducing certain metrics that are being tracked on a person-to-person basis. For example, let's say you have 5 different events that fire along the chain of purchase. So they have page view content, add to cart, initiate checkout, and purchase. I don't know if that was 5 at last count. It's only going to track the last event, purchase. So in that whole aggregate event measurement, that's why there's a priority ranking, because it's going to track the highest priority event. So typically the way that I organize it, and I'll actually pull this back up because I think I have it set up in one of my sites. I set this up, let me shrink this. I set it up where the highest priority is how close someone is to giving you money. So, if you have a store, and really running ads, they cost money. So you really should prioritize this list in terms of money. So essentially view content on that's what we use for our tone down conversions, but it also fires when someone looks at a product in my Shopify store. Lead, that's like when I get their email address. So that's mean I can contact them whenever. That's more important than someone looking at a product. Add to cart, they're interested in something. Initiate checkout, they're about to pay. Add payment info, they're really close to paying. And purchase, they've given me money. So by doing this, you kind of make sure that you're tracking the furthest someone has gotten in your funnel. If you mess up the order of this, you might lose some data along the way. And I believe there's some age tracking that's getting limited and stuff like that. But I don't think for our standard music campaigns, it's not really going to cause a big impact. The biggest impact is really setting this up. So remember, you have to get a custom domain. It only costs like $12 a year. It's not a big deal. You have to have a business manager account. You have to verify your domain. You have to set up your landing pages on a custom subdomain, and you have to register your events in aggregate events measurement. So if this sounds confusing for you, I do have a course, and I added a new module in it that goes through all of this stuff in excruciating detail. And I also have consultations, which you can find below if you need more customized help, one-on-one session for like an hour on Zoom to go through it. But anyways, if you want to watch more videos, you can check out this playlist right here. There's a few other iOS 14 videos there. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.